what happens when the money starts coming? What are you guys doing with the money? Are there ama sahi ndio Mumbusa anaingia picha.
Mumbusa anaingia picha. But hiyo swali wase wengi utuuliza juu hatuko watu sherehe, we always working, so where was the money going? Number one, we were very clear, so nataka soft life. Me was very clear, so we
CK
you know yes, soft life. So at the age of 24 we were both driving.
Nice.
Sio gari. Our first cars zilikuwa Mercedes.
Wow.
I mean, they were old models. You know, but we wanted the best. I mean, all this work we're doing, so zilikuwa Benz.
How much was your first car?
My first car was like 400 G's.
What?
Yeah.
But how old are you when you're buying this?
24.
No,
yeah.
That's a lot of money that you're making.
Right. And
stupid decisions, but hey,
again, now me, you know, I from the word go, I knew I never want to be poor in my life. So at the age before I bought my first car, 24, at 21, 22, I bought my first piece of land.
Good job.
Lakini iligongo hata sinanga title deed. So again, lessons in life.
Yeah, do you have that land though?
No. Ilienda. Lessons in life that I've come to learn later on. I was focused, like I wanted wealth. I know, even right now, I just want wealth. But at that point I was young, I didn't know how things used to happen. So there are very many missed opportunities I got on the way. Number one was, like every Kenyan unaambiwa ukipata pesa nunua kashamba. Nilikimbianga nikanunua kashamba hadi wale sina hiyo title. So hiyo do ilipotea. So what happened is I got scared of investing in land. I was 22 then. The next time I bought a piece of land I was 32. So it took me 10 years kuacha kuogopa. I really wish then I had a father figure or someone who would hold my hand and niambia, "Haya, enda pale kwa kona, lia. Wow. Umemaliza kulia? Haya. Kunaendanga hivyo karibu Nairobi. Sasa usiache, nunua zingine."
Yes.
Because had I been consistent, by now I'd be very far. I wanted to get into the stock.
Nairobi Securities Stock Exchange.
I walked to a company that I just sijuka iko. They looked at me, they're like, "This young man, what are you talking about?" So nikona tu vile wamenijudge. Hiyo pesa, I had like 50k with me. Nilienda tu nikanunua simu. Manze, and I wanted to buy Safaricom stocks. It's when they were going on IPO. The other day I was doing the math, because at that point zilikuwa zinauzwa 3 bob. And kuna times ili dip up to 2 shillings. Na kuna time stock za Safcom zilikuwa over 30 shillings. That 50k right now would have been like 1.6M. I did the math like a year or two ago. I was like, God damn. Again, I wish I had someone who told me, bro, kuja tuziweke hapa, usilie sana ziweke. Anyway, so I made very many stupid decisions. I was young. We were making the money. I wish I did more informed decisions that I didn't, but it's okay. It is what it is.
But for me, you guys understood. I mean, I think, so I've had very interesting people on this platform, and they've changed how I've thought about money. What I'm hearing about you guys, whether you know it or not, or whether even you know it now or not, you guys were building the structure for creating cash. What I mean by that, you guys whether you lost it or not, you could replicate it. Because you built it, you understood.
Yes.
You understood the art of making movies. And the movies was what was going to bring in the money.
Absolutely.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't Citizen that was bringing you the money. It was this art of thing that you guys had, the two of you, that still keeps you guys going together.
Right.
Let me just ask a question for ahead. How haven't you managed to leave Abel? Have you guys amjakosana?
Si kukosana on creative matters. That's not kukosana ya vita. Busema tu, it's God, because we are very aligned with what we want to do. But we're also very clear. If one day we get to a point where life inakupeleka hivi na mi life inanipeleka hivi, we are very okay with that. But the moment, from day one in college, we both knew we wanted to do our own films, our own stories. And we are still on that path. That hasn't changed.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, hata beat record ya Sauti Sol. You get it?
Yeah.
Like it's impressive as an entrepreneur who's had partners.
Yeah.
It's impressive the oneness that you still operate with years later.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially about money, about creative freedom, about the work, about differences, about changes of life.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
And it's having very, especially on the business front, it's having very candid conversations and knowing that niko hapa kwa life. And sometimes the way life moves, mnakuanga hivi. So, you know, there's a period in time where Abel was not very active with Feel It because he was building Kurugenzi. And he took that trajectory. And you know what? We had that convo. We were like, we don't know what this is, but it's digital, and that's where the money is going. And just do your thing. I'm right here. And now he's at a point where Kurugenzi is also supporting Feel It.
Exactly.
The reason we're able to fill up 6,000 people, it's because of Kurugenzi. It's because of the brand we allowed him. You know?
Wow.
And now I am at the point where I'm starting to build becoming CEO. So he's like, yeah, now I'm back. You follow your trajectory. Tupatane tena mbele. So understanding that as you grow individually, it's also growing the company. So giving yourself that grace that Buddha, hii time na watoka kidogo, wacha mimi niende hivi, wewe shikilia, tutapatana hapo mbele. Yeah. And that is life, yeah.
Bro, that is not just life. That's another level of maturity and oneness. Hey, hiyo kitu hata imeleta my eye drops. I don't call them tears. Eye drops really. That's I didn't think of it like that. You get? And sometimes it can look like, I'm Kurugenzi, why do I need you? It's also maturity on him to say, bado niko. It's just that I'm the face here, but tuko pamoja. Or even the maturity for you to say, yeah, that's your thing. You do your thing.
Kabisa.
Even it's 100% you, but I don't know how, but it will one day help me.
Kabisa.
And even if it doesn't help me, do your thing. Okay, turudi hapa.
Yeah.
You've got 2 shows, Mother-in-Law, Tidy High.
Yeah.
You are, do you let go of acting? Or do you keep juggling all? Is Melvo still there? No, Delvo.
Melvin. No. So by 2011, because we got in 2007. Yeah, sorry. We got in 2007. So by 2011, we were like, guys, we cannot be in form for 5 years. Lazima tumalize shule. So 2011.
Who said that? You guys?
Yeah, actually, Abel wrote the final script. Kichwa ngumu yetu. Because at that point,
he killed you.
He killed all of us.
He killed all your paychecks.
And then the other actors, like we had all grown. Life is happening. We don't look like high school students. Yeah. So one day Abel tu alileta paper and in his script, bam, tunafanya KCSE. Even the director was there. But she was like, you know what, I get where you're coming from. It's time to let go of you guys. Realistically now, we can't push it further than this. So from 2011 now, the character dies. But for us, for Abel and myself, at that point, we are deeply rooted in the crew now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you, that's growth, man. Change is very hard.
Very. And people ask us why are you guys the way you are, or how have you guys been able to achieve what you've been able to achieve? Honestly, we keep saying it's 2 things. We will outwork anyone you put us in a room with. Like, we are proper hard workers. Number 2, we are not afraid. Yo kitu tunasemanga tusiwai lose. Yo staki kuita kiburi. You know, you do it afraid, but you do it. You make hard decisions. The number of times we've quit on projects and we don't know what we're going to eat the next day. Ni mob.
Okay, I'm about to hear this. No, bro.
Yeah.
Let me say, I saw this event of 6,000 guys. And I just called Abel and I was just like, thank you. Thank you for doing this event. Me, I'm doing an event with 50 guys.
Yeah.
Na chapa backflips. How am I going to handle the finances and that come with this to do this thing? And I'm like, these guys are doing 6,000. What madness is that? And for me, I was like, thank you. Do it afraid.
Yeah.
Thank you for being now a beacon of hope to us content creators who are going offline, migrating digital audience to the offline space.
Right.
So by the time you're killing this thing, do you have a relationship with Citizen? Have you started going to Citizen TV, Royal Media? Let me say that. Royal Media, the offices.
The offices. Yes and no. Yes, because especially for me because now I'd gotten to a point I was basically, I was literally like the producer and director by the time I was leaving. So first of all, tukianza Tahidi, we used to be paid in cash. So every end month, I'm the one going to Citizen with my payroll. Here's the money. You're paying people like 3 million in cash. So nika hapo nizihesabu mkono. And then nizibebe, niende set, wasi wakuje, nilipe kila mtu cash. So yes, I was always at Citizen, but I have never been employed formally by Citizen. So I was always a contract crew guy for Tahidi and mother-in-law.
Okay, let's explain the money workings for this. This show, hey, Phil. Hey, ECT kali. Wow. Hey, you guys don't deserve this free content. Hey, you get donations. Kukula too. You're giving us value here. So, Citizen, because now we're talking about the working of how shows make money.
Yeah.
At least back in the day. So, was this show, it sounds like, was Wamoyo a Citizen employee, or was this a different production house that was being paid?
No. Wamoyo was a Citizen employee.
So this was a Citizen-owned show.
Yes.
It's like Netflix-owned show.
Yes.
That they then finance.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So, number two, your level of integrity. At 24, you're already holding 3 million. Now you disappear.
Ukumbuka nilianza collect those bills za fadhi.
Bro, 3 million.
Can I say this? Yani genuinely, to date, money doesn't excite me to that level, like get corrupted to that. Money is good, trust me.
Yeah.
Money is very good. It's just that money is such a shifting goalpost. Because what I make now, when I was starting out in life, let's make doka hizo. Mimi make it. Now I'm here, I'm like, broke. I'm like, bana kwani? It is such a shifting goalpost. So, and yeah. I think integrity, yes.
Yeah, but I'm not going to lie about the integrity thing. There are people who could have pocketed some.
Yeah.
There's nothing stops you from pocketing a 20 Gs.
Yeah.
You get?
And it used to happen a lot. So one of the reasons the producer stuck with me as her assistant for the longest was that.
Unaona?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because suddenly, from 3 million, unafikiri 20 Gs itaenda. Then wambie mse wa lights or you over, you know what I mean?
Yeah, unaweza piga kadila hapo hivyo, nikuandikie kwa requisition wewe na kulipa 10k alafu nikuje nikupe 5 ni yangu. There are many ways that people could, I don't know, that was never,
Why? This is leadership. Let me say this CTAs that I'm doing this time around. The next CTAs, I'm planning on doing 100 CTAs in 2025, or from now till 2025, December 5th. But the thing is, leadership, I think the foundation of it is integrity. I don't know if it's your upbringing or whatever it is, but I'm just saying you're showing me leadership qualities that you could be trusted at that young age to go and pay people and be given that kind of money in cash. What's your view on integrity then? Because say when you're employer.
Yeah. Man, I don't even know how to answer that. Definitely I'd say how we were brought up. In our house, integrity, honesty, bro. The few times nilishikwa nikiiba 5 bob ya madhe, ile vita nilipigwa. Wow. Kuna time nilishikwa nimeiba 5 bob. Mama. Mzae alinipiga kanifunganisha kamba kama mwizi na kanitupa nje kwa barabara. So mtu yote anapita kwa barabara ananiona nimekaa hivi nimefunganishwa, wakiuliza wasema ni mwizi ameiba. Like he treated me like a thug. So one, the fear of being killed by my own parents. That one is there. And the way we work at Feel It and with Abel and our entire team, we found this commonality that me, bro, I have lost so many businesses, and later on msana kuja ananiambia, but Buddha, hukuongea ile lugha ya Kenya. Namuuliza, what do you mean? Bana hukutupeza macho, that's why you lost that contract. I'm naive or stupid. Me, I don't get it. Me, unless you ask for a bribe from me directly, I don't. And there are things you whisper to God, and God really listens to you. Like for us, we tried once doing kila mtu kimbilia tenda za gava. The dust we were shown, we said never again. We don't want to ever do business with government again. To date, by the way, we don't get contracts from government. And once in a while they'll call, but no, we don't get contracts from government. And we were very clear that we never want to work in a space where we're constantly bribing. And so you'll never see us doing a lot of TV ads. Because hapo kuna kuanga na kickbacks kibao. We don't know that. Like I can confidently say every production we've done, and that's why I love working with Mnet and Showmax. To date, hakuna mtu ashaniomba 1 shilling hivi ati bribe ama kickback. I will always vouch for those companies for that. And for some reason, God has made it that we only meet and work with like-minded people. And then we quickly realized that because we are not good at e-game ya ya chini, we are better off when we build our own brands, like Mkurugenzi, Becoming, Trinity Experience, Feel It TV, the platform, grow it from the grassroots, and with time, the products we build from scratch that we own feed us. So here I'm not bribing anyone. Yeah.
Bro, let's take a 2-minute break. That's a good moment for you to ponder about the foundation of leadership, which is integrity.
So again, backtrack a little bit back to, I think it was around June. So one of the people who had joined the cohorts to take his business through that program was a guy called Chris Odongo. And so he was our student. He went through the program and, he's looking at the content. And like after a few months of going through the program, he would keep coming back to us and he's like, I like what you guys are doing. I've been running a business that's almost in a similar space. Would you guys consider that I join your team maybe as a complete minority shareholder? And I would be happy to come on board, and just, team up with you guys. So when Chris asked if he could join, it was a bit, David and I were at that stage where David is thinking of leaving. So we were not sure whether we could admit a third partner at that stage. We didn't even know how you go about doing such a process. And so I think we told Chris, wait, as we sort things out, maybe you can join later on or something of a sort. So he went through the program, finished it, continued giving us good feedback, saying, you guys are doing great stuff. I would love to join you if that works. So in December, when I had the conversation with David that, we are going separate ways, There was a no-brainer for me there. I had, bought David out, so I had accumulated shares. Chris didn't want 50%. He wanted, in fact, I think he wanted to start out at like 10%, and it has since grown. So I'm like, for me, it's a net gain. And let's see, let him come and we see how this works. So in fact, one of the things that happened is, and David decided he was leaving. So at some point when we both came to terms with it, I was just like, okay, cool. But what happened is that now, I think in my mind what happened is I felt, okay, now there's not two families to take care of, there's one. So maybe I can hack this if I just continue, because the burden was less on both of us. And so even if there was depressed business during that election year, it felt like now to take care of one, it would be okay. Yeah. And remember, my wife was working, so there was ways we could balance out things between the two of us. So so David left, and then I became, something else like happened mentally for me, where I'm like, if somebody who I've been best friends with can leave, then nothing is guaranteed in life. So I think I became a lot more carefree. I became a lot more open to failure after that experience. And that's why I was like, Chris, come, let's see if this thing can work out. If it doesn't, what the heck? This carefully planned one didn't work. So nothing is guaranteed in life. So since then, I've actually built an attitude of failing fast. Like since then, I became a guy of what needs to be done. Let's try it out, and if you look down the line, there are many decisions we've made since that were failures because of my first move.
So the African tongue sometimes doesn't enable us to understand the word. Mm-hmm. Fast, F-A-S-T or F-I-R-S-T?
Fast, F-A-S-T, fail fast.
Fail fast.
Yeah, like fail quickly, yeah. That's like if you try out something, fail quickly. Yeah. So that's why I was like, Chris, come, let's try this out, see if we can work together. Like I didn't even go through all the legal procedures and stuff. Like I wasn't very careful going forward after that. I was just like, what the heck? Because even by that time, I think the dark cloud was such that, even after David leaving, this thing can potentially completely fail. So let me just try what I can. If it works out well and good, if it doesn't, I'll dust my CV and go back to the corporate space.
I've shut down a business. So it's an emotional thing. I've also separated with partners. Mm-hmm. Well, this thing we start together. Our kids are good friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Our best friends. We do holidays together. Yep. It's literally like a divorce.
Yeah.
It's and that dark period when you just shut down or when the person leaves is extremely difficult. Without God, me, I would not be here.
Yeah.
But out of that dark period is how CTA was born. But for me, my question then to you would be, because now you had clinical depression. That's different. I'm learning that depression isn't feeling the blues.
Yeah.
Medical condition.
Yeah.
That now also comes with this dark side of feeling the blues.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that you're out of it, but how did you be the fact that you're able to sit here today?
Yeah.
Take their lives in that period.
Yes. Like it gets that dark. And so I remember during that entire period, I actually remember sitting with a friend who kind of prepared me for it, like earlier in the year, who's like, why don't you think of worst case scenario? Like what's the worst that could happen, if you went in a direction where, say, David left or the business shut down? And I'd never thought about it up until then. And that's when I started to think about it. And then I actually started to get comfortable with the fact that it could happen. So I prepared myself and I'm like, if it happens, well and good. But I was actually seeking active help using like a psychiatrist. I got onto medication, therapy and that kind of stuff, which has been helpful up to date. And yeah, no, well, I would say almost 100% functional today, but there's always a risk that if I don't take care of the triggers that got me into that. So like that time, the trigger was the post-election violence, which then there was PTSD, from, I think, watching people on TV getting hacked, and because those images were there at that time, and in newspapers you're seeing, you know, all sorts of gory things. So I think that kind of tipped me over. And from there now I had to like start from rock bottom and go through treatment and just rebuild.
And also let me just add, I've just did my status and I'm like, entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. Like I don't want to mince those words. When you're talking about anxiety, entrepreneurship, when you have employees, those are added kids.
Yes,
So
yeah, and families.
You think about, especially if you're a caring person, and you look like you're just a good guy. Good guys care.
Yes.
So you feel the burden of, I'm failing these people.
Yeah.
I promise them that I'll give them a salary. Like things, the landlord is calling me.
Yeah.
If he kicks me out, we don't have a place. We don't have a place. We don't have business. We don't, you know, it can be spiraling. So like every day can be anxiety.
Yes, yeah. So and I don't know. Like I usually feel like I am hardwired to money. So, like for me, if I start getting anxious, it's because we are going to run out of money in like 2 or 3 months. Like I feel it. I am hardwired to how well the business is doing. So when we get into a situation where things are like really, really dark, then you know I'm feeling it physically. You know. Even struggling now to deliver on assignments, struggling to handle customers. And then you kind of get into this downward spiral where you feel like you're letting everyone down. I'm letting my customers down. I'm letting my family down. You know, like there's just this whole thing around. Yeah, so I had to actively seek help. Changed doctors a number of times.
At Sandbox, do you have this?
Yes, we do. We have a mental health consultant. And I'll tell you even later on, like we found out like maybe 30% of people we serve at some point, sometimes are even going through a mental health issue and don't know it. So yes. So it's something that we figured that if we are going to holistically help entrepreneurs, then even for those very dark periods, because people go through like life issues, they go through divorce, they go through separation. Yeah, my wife and I did a survey, was it 2 years ago, a year ago, around entrepreneurship and marriage. And the stories that came out were crazy. There are people who have broken marriages. A lot of people were saying in that thing how I wish my first wife was there to enjoy the fruits of whatever, because the first wife is the one who went through all the hell, and then maybe they separated and then the business picked up and now they have become very successful, but it's with somebody else. So, I mean, entrepreneurship can be very, very rough. Like for me, I was fortunate my wife was working, but you see, you still face challenges because maybe her salary alone is not enough in those days when there's completely zero on my side to take care of things. And so I end up in that space where now I'm feeling, and you know, culturally I'm a man, I'm not providing, there's just that, yes, into my identity, yeah. Men, our identity is in what we do. So when that's not working, it spills over into the home. Yeah. And sometimes the women don't care, but sometimes they feel, okay, you're not pulling your weight. And then they start to doubt, am I supporting a vision that's going to die? Is this business really going to work? Is this guy chasing a pipe dream? You know, so all those kinds of questions begin to come up, and yeah, some tough questions to answer during that time.
Oh man, that's so powerful. And I know as entrepreneurs you have the tendency sometimes to work, especially when you're the one who's engaging with the, I'll give an example of myself. I used to engage a lot with the clients. So when this client is late in paying, it's me. You get? Or so that means you're working from 5 in the morning to 10:30
yes,
at night.
Yeah, you're putting in extra work.
You're not seeing the kids.
Yep.
Part of the reason as to even why I was like, nah, some things I have to give was just missing out on your children's growth because you're chasing this paper so that you can pay school fees.
In fact, I remember one time, this was probably a bit later on when my son was in, there used to be a Jonathan Glug, and there's one time there was a sports day, and it's on that time when one of my big clients put an assignment, and I didn't have the courage to tell them no because I need the money. And then when we are halfway through the assignment, because of course my wife has gone, she takes a photo of my son on the podium having won gold and sent it to me. And then I'm like, oh my God, I missed that. And from that day I saw, when I get a calendar of all the different events for my kids, I lock them in. If a client asks to do something on that day, I completely refuse, because after seeing that, particular thing, and of course, sometimes the wives tend to be very supportive because they're like, you're trying to build a business, so it's okay, you go, I understand. But they would have preferred if you came. So I'm like, I missed a great moment for my son because I was out with a client, and I'm like, after that, never again.
I did the same thing. I said, you'll never catch me before 8 a.m. because it's me who drops my kids. Even if you're the president.
So I do the same. I drop them at school as well in the morning.
So, but it's so wonderful to hear that, because it's not that they can't catch the school bus, but I intentionally do it so that I can get to spend time with them. And I've not died. I'm still here.
The world finds ways of adjusting around your schedule with time.
Exactly.
Thanks
for sharing that, man. I feel like entrepreneurs don't have this conversation about mental health.
Actually, from experience, because we've dealt with hundreds, I've realized that it's actually quite rampant. A lot of people don't know that the challenges they're dealing with, their lack of energy, their inability to concentrate, and all these sorts of things is actually a mental health issue, either because they've reached burnout, the stress has tipped them over and they've gotten to a place where they're depressed. And usually it's because you've put in so much and then it's not coming. You're not getting the direct feedback, especially monetarily, that the energy I've put in is coming back. And then in this country, there's another factor. You remember when we were struggling to get the NITA, whatever, registration and stuff. There's something that can move very quickly in this country if you just bribe. But us guys had always had the principle, we are never going to do so, we'll do business with integrity. So that integrity path actually makes things 10 times harder. Because there are many places you're not going to get deals. There are people who want to, they have their hands greased. I'll tell some stories later of how, we tried engaging with Gava and ended up in those scenarios where people are asking for kickbacks and stuff. And then you have to walk away from a deal. And it doesn't matter how broke you are, because of, choosing to stand for our principles. And so sometimes you get into this scenario where you're like, why is it I'm suffering because I'm doing the right thing? I don't have access to business because I've refused, to go down the path of corruption and those kinds of things. So it can get really dark in that space. And so you find a lot of entrepreneurs who also take that path of, trying to do the right thing. Business will not work out because you're trying to do the right thing. Or you put in 100%, you get 10% back. And so only the very resilient can actually ride that wave out. Because eventually, yes, it pays off.
Solomon Wangwe, and I can share this because you did videos with him. That you're one of the people who invested with him.
Yes.
Land acquisition. I mean, the amount of horror stories that he has because of integrity
issues.
Him deciding just to keep his integrity has frustrated business a lot of times. But the beauty of what it is that I agree with you, and it's my mantra. If anyone is watching, good guys win. So this integrity thing that we're talking about, it pays off.
It pays off eventually.
It pays off. And they don't just win; they win for long. When they win, it's a struggle before you win. So and I want you to touch on that, because part of the reason why I do CTA is I'm such a believer of values and right values. So I really love the fact that you've said here on camera that you've lost business because for you it's double bottom line. I'm not just after getting money. Very important. But the money has to be gotten the right way.
The right way.
Why as an entrepreneur have you decided to keep that so strong?
I would say two things influence that. So one, probably back to my faith upbringing, that those values became a core part of who I was. But the second thing is also, when doing my research about why Africa is where it is, it's just basically getting sold out by leaders. It's lack of integrity that causes institutions to fail. The reason hospitals don't have drugs is because there's a guy who takes them and sells them on the side to enrich himself. Or there's a guy who coolers the money for the rooms. Or projects get inflated, so we end up getting things at 2 or 3 times the cost they should have been. I mean, NHIF, they're increasing NHIF now, but we know that somebody who was basically a receptionist at NHIF had property worth more than 160 million shillings. So there's all these things that the public should be having, or even, it happens a lot even in the private sector, you know, where, you know, people just...
Unless you're giving me a kickback,
I'm not giving you whatever. So you find the wrong people or less competent people end up getting the jobs. And those who are really, really good at what they do don't get a chance, you know, to feed into how society is growing in a big way. And so back to that story about why is Africa where it is, it's simply a question of values. Lack of integrity is what has caused us to be a third world country today. We could have been a middle or first, you know, world economy today if simply the money that was set aside to build roads, build hospitals, build schools had gone to what it is. Yeah, was used for that. If we just had people, in fact, I'm like, if I was appointed president today, the basic thing I would do is just get competent people who are honest. And by those two things alone, you'd see this economy grow in leaps and bounds.
Yep.
Yeah, because the level of waste that is there in you know, different parts of how government runs, different parts of how NGOs run, different parts of how corporates run. There's just so much waste, so much. So you find that theft, it's theft.
The president has the audacity to go on camera.
Yeah, and say it's 2 billion. It's stolen. Yeah. And I mean, just imagine what that would do. And we're in a country where we still flag off, you know, food to go and feed the hungry. Kids still learn under trees. These are things that would not, that 2B would build 50 classes, you know, every year. So we could be a well-run country. And my experience in Norway was also that. Norway is one of the best-run countries in the world. Public resources, people handle it with integrity and everything. Basically, everyone in that economy is rich. I remember one time asking my housemate, who can afford a car like this? There was a Range Rover Sport like in front of us. I'm like, who can afford a car like this in Norway? She's like, anyone. This is a middle class thing. Here, it's wealthy people who, whatever. But in a place like Norway, everyone is wealthy because of how the country's assets have been managed. And when I just looked at how the economy was run, it was basically getting people of integrity into office. And that's why, like, I am so passionate about this integrity thing. If you are on my timeline a few years ago, and I'll tell you why I stopped making noise about politics. I used to get so angry at what politicians and public officials do, because you can simply tell if this guy in the Ministry of Housing or this guy in the Ministry of Health or this guy in the Ministry of, if they just did the right thing, we would be treating all cancer patients in this country. In here, would import the equipment, train doctors, would treat them on the basis of NHIF. It's just resources are looted and whatever. We put personal profit, you know, ahead of public good. And that's why we end up having the kind of society that we do.
And let me also add, just in case people may be pointing a finger just at government officials. The government official is just the one who won the race.
Yeah.
This thing sips down to...
Yeah, because that's how I challenge every Kenyan, where I say, you're pointing your finger at that guy who's stealing billions, but you're the same guy who, when you're stopped, when you're in a hurry to go somewhere, you'll chomo 1,000 bob and give it to the cop so that he lets you go. It's the same behavior. It's just overlapping. Yeah, it's someone who's overlapping, or you know, it's the same behavior. Yeah. Yeah. It's So we need a whole national dialogue around this whole values thing, because the number of entrepreneurs I see getting depressed because they've given so much, they have done so much, they have, you know, literally done their best. They've sold their house, all their property, they've been auctioned, they've been what? Simply because they can't get deals, you know, straight up. The cost is huge. Yeah.
I had a friend who, when I have this conversation with, told me a legal term, she's a judge. She's like tabula rasa. Tabula rasa means a complete reset of people's mindsets.
Yeah.
And everything. And one of the questions, again, just to sort of close this thing that I always wonder, when you get kids, you begin to wonder, what if I give you the best education? I unfortunately cannot say, and this is now the first time where you begin to think about maybe going to live abroad. Because you're like, if I give my daughter or my son the best education that they can possibly get, and they pass, are you telling me that cut doesn't guarantee them a good job anymore?
Yeah, we have a lot of problems in this economy. Like that, we could have an entire CTA in terms of what's wrong. And I generally tend to think that like we let our politicians and our public officials get away with too much. But that's because we also let it happen within the corporate space. We have people who steal, people who cut deals, people who own companies that are supplying the same institution which they are in charge of. So I say it's a society issue. We can't really point fingers and say it's just government or what. It happens in NGOs. People seated on the board are awarding themselves deals. That's why I'm like, we have to have an honest conversation, because I think we are the kind of country where we want, and this is where if we even go back to religion, I'm like, is religion just something we wear on our sleeves, or is it something that we actually act out on? Because I've also been in many religious settings where you have people who basically bribe to get jobs and they feel it's okay, like because everyone is doing it. You'll even have people who will advise you to cut corners here to get cooked books here to be able to access funding or to skive taxes and these kinds of things. So it's something that has actually seeped right into our fabric of society. But I think from a national point of view, we are in denial that this is who we are, because we have this thing of Sunday, we dress well, go to church, there's an image thing. Yeah, you sit on you're a deacon, you're an elder, you're a what. But in the back end, on Monday to Saturday, the things you're doing, you're the same one who works for Ministry of Roads, and you're the same one who's accepting kickbacks. You're the same one who's accepting, underhand dealings and what. So for us, righteousness is a virtue signaling thing. It's not something that we actually act out. Because if we did that, society would be very different.
I'm hopeful though. I'm hopeful when I hear people like you stories. That's part of the reason why I curate them. To let majority of the next generation know, even the now generation know, that there are other people who are doing this thing different. There are guys who are getting tenders the right way. There are guys who are doing business the right way. It's difficult, it's hard, but they're doing it. And beyond just the financial, the finances that they get, there's also a mental, internal peace that they have in accumulating their wealth. It's all nice to be wealthy, but you need bodyguards. You know what I mean? Or
looking over your shoulder, having to change cars. There are people who couldn't even eat food in a restaurant.
Imagine.
Because they are afraid of who's poisoned them.
So, but let me now, first of all, again, wonderful entrepreneurship conversation. I think it's very important to speak about integrities. I think it's very important to speak about the landscape that we are in and the corruption that happens within that landscape. I think it's also very important to speak about mental health, and I don't think they are separated.
Conversations.
So 2012, things are going.
Your
new partner is telling you to lose 10%. You're more feeling free. So Chris comes on board, and right off the bat, we are doing this program for entrepreneurs. After elections, things start to pick up again. So we get back on the recruiting. Was it complimentary to you? Did he
yes. So what we lost in David was the whole technical aspect of being able to create content and whatever. But by the time I was leaving, a lot of it was also created. So Chris had a different strength in that he's a very operationally driven person. And so very complimentary to me, because I'm your visionary strategist type. So I always need a number two who's very good at executing. So David was a great executor, but he was also more of a technical expert. But Chris, I think, was a lot more aggressive when it comes to the execution front. And I think he also came in without any baggage of a business. And so we just moved on and started building things and doing more cohorts and the like. And kind of after that election, the demand did come back. We had other entrepreneurs. I remember the year after, we probably ended up doing 4 cohorts. of the different entrepreneurs. By this time, remember we had started out at charging people like 3K, then 5K. I think by this time we're doing around 7.5, 9.5 per month type of thing. The program had kind of evolved where we had added a coaching element. And yeah, before long we were just seeing that the people coming through the program would grow and grow and grow. And we would keep improving the content, improving it. The banks came back asking us to just, train their people. So we started to do a lot of programs with people like NCBA, your backlists came back. So I would say there was like a recovery. And I remember, I think when Jubilee government came in, there was a lot of excitement around whether the economy was going to grow. There was a lot of promises from the Jubilee government and the like. So I guess of running off the bat of that excitement, the economy started going again. And then while it started to grow again, we started to make enough money to sustain the team that was there.
Yeah.
By this time we had quite a number of employees. I think at any given time 3 or 4.
And are you still at this time Hurlingham?
We are still still at Silverpool. And then by around 2013, 2014, going back to the Penya incident, I remember getting a call from, I think it was Liz Kilili.
Creative Garage.
Of Creative Garage, yeah. Liz, we were close. We were in the same life group and, good friends. And so at some point she was running something in Kuana Trust for creatives. And I think the topic was, are creatives entrepreneurs? And so I went and talked about how, you can build a creative business and, structure it and it grows and generates money and all those sorts of things. And seated in the audience was executive director of Kuana Trust, who then walks up to me and says, you sound like the guy we've been looking for. We are getting this funding from it was Hivos at the time. We had to do a strategy for Kuana Trust, and it needs to focus on how creatives can become profitable. And we've been looking for someone different from the NGO consultants we've been working with. We're looking for someone commercial who can bring that hardcore commercial thinking into how we are doing things.
CTA with Patricia, video 5.
Edutainment is how you pass information in an entertaining way. Our guest is the queen of edutainment. Hey, we're laughing here. But I don't want you to miss the nuggets and the lessons that she's saying within that. She's talking about relocating back to Kenya because of the help that we have here. A lot of people talk about going maju. On this CTA show, I've got something called the Diaspora Series, where I have conversations with people in the diaspora. Yeah. So in an essence, to remind them of home and to remind home of them. To be that bridge, not really remind them. To show this side and for this side to understand even the progress that has happened back home. What you're talking about is such a crucial thing. The house helps and the help that we get here, even the community and the support that you get here, especially in the time of childbirth or having a baby, and especially the fast. That was actually a decision that triggered you guys to decide to come home. And did you come home with your husband?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So you come home what year?
God, now these years.
Okay,
you're asking me to think. You're asking me to think at this hour. This was 96 maybe?
96.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you come back. Now you become a mother. What's that like? First time?
I mean, it was easy for me. When I
really?
come home, being a mother for me was easy. Especially because you've got 2 maids. So my mother came in. She had the one she had found was looking after my nephew. She said, now he's big enough. He's grown up. He's 2. Now that one could move. Actually, that nanny who stayed with us one day, she stayed with me until my eldest daughter was 13 and the other one was 11. So she
wow.
I stayed with her for many years.
Yeah, she
I
became
went with her
family.
to South Africa,
Yeah.
did everything else. So she actually stayed with the children. You
That
know?
again,
Yeah.
I'd say that
Yeah.
help and support that you
Yes,
get back.
yes.
It's absolutely
Yeah.
crucial for
Yeah.
existence.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it made a difference because remember I came back. I was only around for, I think 3 years.
Okay, so when you come back, you go back to Unilever?
Yes, back at Unilever.
and
I'm promoted now marketing manager. Remember there was a pathway that I had. I was going to become the marketing director.
Yeah.
So I was fast. I mean, I was very clear. That was my end game.
And at that time, the organization doesn't want to lose you, huh?
No. Oh,
So-
Unilever was brilliant. They could keep you forever. You were getting long service awards by the gallons, you know. They were, it's not like today
Yes, yeah.
where there's, you know, today's workplace, people don't stay in jobs. In fact, you don't even want to stay in a job. In fact, if I had the opportunity to, I'd be changing jobs every 3 years if I could. I'd do the millennial thing because the exposure it gives you, the difference. You know, the days are gone where
You're in
it
one
was
organization
where it was actually a plus because of the way the world is changing so often now. It's even become more of a plus. No, you can't say somewhere 6 months because that also shows you're not
of course.
cutting your teeth. But 2 to 3 years makes sense because you've gone through a few cycles of reviews and proving yourself. Because if you were shit, you'd have been thrown
I
out by
get
the
it.
first year.
True that.
So it means you've done something, right? But what it allows, it shows you versatility. It shows versatility in a person. It shows adaptability. At least for me, that's the way I
hear
look
you.
at it. Because if you're able to move from one organization, settle, go to another organization, do prove, it means by the time you're coming, you're sharing a broader bit of experience. But in the past, you stayed in one place and you grew within it. And if you had an organization that allowed you to do that, then
Wonderful.
you go with the flow. And
Yeah.
that was what Unilever was. Because even though I was in that organization, I never did the same job
And also
more
the-
than 3 years.
The
ever.
amount of brands that you had.
Yes,
was also,
but it was never the same job.
Okay.
You know, you're a brand manager, then you're a brand manager in the UK, then you come back, you're marketing manager of a particular category. Home care.
What
which is
category were you?
Home care, which is a Omo, the key soaps, all those type of
Yeah.
things, you know, Vim, you know, that type of things. Then you go to South Africa. I went to South Africa as the head of an innovation center for the region. Totally different job.
Wow.
You know, then come back, you're the marketing director for the portfolio, after which then I left. Yeah.
I wait because you had achieved your goal.
Yeah,
But let's
I'd
get-
achieved my goal.
This time
I
when you
did
come
it.
back, you're marketing
Yeah.
manager.
Yes.
This is 96 around there.
Yes.
What's the landscape looking like? For example, I'm thinking about it from a TV perspective. KTN
Very
is
different.
coming in.
Oh, those are the days of Omo Picker Box. That's when we created Omo Picker Box. Martin Burrow was my colleague.
You
Yes.
are part of the people
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
Omo
well, Omo Picker Box people, Regina,
Yes.
you know, that whole crew. That's the time we did a lot of shows. We
That
did.
was
We tried to do
successful.
another Blue Band one, which didn't run as well, but tried to do that as well. Yeah, so that was the era when the shows started kicking in. And it was good. It was different.
Did you
Lots
have
of campaigns.
competitors? Did Omo have any competitors?
Yes, we did. That's the time Toss. Toss had just kicked in. Toss was our biggest challenger brand.
Yes.
Really, really dealing with Toss and everything else. So that's what happened. And then Bidco has started coming in as well. They had Prestige, which they launched against Blue Band.
Okay.
So then I go to South Africa to do this job.
What's the and
Royco.
So first of all, in this time you get your second child.
Yes.
Before going to South Africa.
Yes, I have a second child. And
Okay.
literally,
Both girls.
both girls. So McKenna was born. And then in 5 months, she was 5 months when I went to South Africa. And I had to leave them at first because I had to go and settle down,
Yep.
you know, buy a house, buy furniture, you know, have at least a car. You know, you hire a car in the
Yes.
first month you go, but, you know, just make sure a car, all those things. But the other thing that I did, because I was going to be managing markets across Africa, I needed to go visit them. And so I didn't want to, I didn't want to leave
yeah.
kids in a foreign country and then go travel. So I did those first visits in the 6, 7, 8 weeks that I left them. And it was the toughest time, I won't lie, because came back having everything more or less done, come back now so I can collect the children.
Yes.
At the airport, that little baby of mine who had left at 5 months, gums, she had gums, nothing, has got big teeth, big ones, she's grown teeth in the time that I gone, and she didn't want me.
Oh.
She looked at me, it's not a crack. I'm telling you, for a mother, it's the most,
Wow.
I tell people there are things that you can't forget, and you can't, that hurt, there's a pain that you feel which nobody else can do that. Looking at your child wanting to pick her, and she's like, crying, running away to the maid, to whatever, father take me, but you, hell no, who are you? Who's this stranger? Who's this person? Who's this person who wants to now hold me? So that was tough. So then came and then collected.
Let me ask.
Yeah.
Wow. First of all, that's coming there. This is the second person in leadership.
Yes.
Who's a woman who said that exact same story.
Yeah.
It's like there's sacrifices that have to be made. But before that, this is the first under the marketing manager. This is the first time I'm hearing you managing people.
Yes, I
because
manage
by the
people
time
then.
now you go to South Africa, it's
Yes,
now
I've got a team. Yes,
you're even
yes.
now you're going regional.
Yes.
But before we get there, I want to understand what's the dynamics of you managing people.
I mean, good. Because you're recruiting. First of all, that's the era I recruited some amazing people who came in as management trainees, and then went on to grow into the business. They were very, very good. I mean, when I tell people, some of the people who I was marketing manager and they were brand manager, when you think of Isaboke, went on to run MultiChoice.
What?
He was my key brand manager. So went on to be amazing head CEO of so many different things.
Yeah.
So it was a very good experience.
And what
I
were
must
you
admit.
looking for then that you can see is the same traits you'd look for now?
Oh, me, dynamism, initiative. I love initiative. I love people get things done. The fastest way to lose me is to be unreliable.
Wow.
Yeah, undependable. Yeah. I'd rather you sit down and tell me it can't be done, or it's going to be done tomorrow, but don't tell me I'm bringing it now, and then 2 days later, yeah, and then you say, oh, this happened, that happened, that happened.
Everyone has excuses.
No, excuses. I tell people that when I commit to doing something, let me tell you, even if I'm dying, I'll do it. I've done things from hospital beds because I made the commitment.
Yeah.
I made the commitment. And that's why it's very difficult for me to commit to things, because I know once I commit to it, even if it kills me, I'll do it. So by the time I say I'm doing something, I will do it. Actually, the thing that bothers me most is not honoring a commitment I've made. It kills me. I can't do it.
Wow.
Telling people I'll call you back and I haven't called you. Let me just shut up. Why am I saying I'll call you when I know I'm not going to? No, just shut up. Don't respond. Don't say you're going to do it.
Yep.
But those are the things that disturb me. So we agreed with you. It was this date.
Yeah.
In my head, I knew it was it.
And
So even if something had come, I would have made it happen and then gone to do something. Because, that is what commitments are.
Wow.
Yeah, that is what it
That's
is. My
powerful.
brain always works. I made a commitment. Oh my goodness, if I've double booked, I messed up. My whole brain spends its time trying to figure out how am I going to do all of them. Because I've made the commitment. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'd rather not make a commitment. If I know I'm not going to do it, I won't make the commitment. Don't force me. Once I've said no, I've said no. It's because I can't honor it.
You know it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I love the foundation with which you did it.
Yeah.
What challenges did you have working with people?
I think my biggest challenge, and it's something that I continue to experience, and even when I look at all the other roles that I've had, the biggest one is letting people go. I have done I've been involved in so many reorganizations.
I think you're involved in one now, if I'm not wrong.
No,
it's not.
I finished.
Okay, you were.
I did one in 2023. That was a big one, but that was different in that we weren't letting people go. That was a voluntary exit scheme.
Oh, okay.
Voluntary meaning you chose, you volunteered to go. Last year we had a guided one, much smaller, but I'm done now. I'm not doing anymore.
Okay.
That's it. Because I think that the reality is the natural attrition now will do what needs to be done. And it's a question of how do you bring the right time. But when you've got an organization that needs to change, remove fat, fat, I shouldn't say fat because people read it badly, but remove, make it a lot more agile is a question that I'm saying. In a market where margins are shrinking. Revenues are so hard to come by.
Yep.
Growth is so tough. You can't afford to still have the same
formula
structure,
that worked
formula
a
that
couple
lasts,
of years
yeah.
ago.
And also talent is different. You need to have a different talent base. But I think for me, reorganizations is the most painful. And I still remember every single one which somebody refused to understand why it was them. And whatever logic you gave them, I still can see them in their eyes saying, how could you do this to me? It becomes you. How could you do this to me? And I think also the other painful thing is recognizing that when you let go of an African or somebody from an emerging market, you're letting go of 20 people.
Yep.
You know, it's not that individual. Because the support system, what that individual supports is a hell of a lot. And it's that I think bothers me. So that for me is the toughest thing. In any role I've done, it's always been the toughest thing.
How have you been able, though, still in doing that?
To stay human.
Yes. And even what, because I'm thinking of somebody, and this was my previous self. I hated confrontation to do that, to have to let somebody go. So my growth stage, I just told myself, you've got to learn to confront. So for you, how do you get the big girl pants to do it? What is it that's made?
So what guides me now in anybody that I have to let go for whatever circumstance outside of a structured process like that is evidence. I mean facts, process. Yeah? For me, process is just so fundamental, right? So if, for example, I hear that so-and-so something's happening, I might sit down and ask you, this is what I'm hearing. Is it true? Is this something you want to say? And if you want to say it, by the way, I'll forgive, we move on and we rectify it and do it. But if you deny it, I say, okay, fine, fair enough. Then from that point on, what we're going to look for, what I'm going to look for is the facts to support it. Once I have the facts, then I'm going to go through a process, a completely transparent and open process, which nobody can challenge that you've missed a step or you've done. That for me is very, very important, because that is why organizations put policies and processes in place, because that's where you get the fairness. Because at the end of the day, what do you want to do? You have to treat somebody fairly. They're a human being. They also have a life.
Despite
right?
whether they are wrong or...
Even if they've done the biggest wrong, they still have a life. And what you want them to do from that is to learn. A lot of people learn from it. Others just don't. They spend their whole time hating you or doing whatever it is they want. But, you waste so much time when you do that because you don't grow. The best thing is to be introspective of yourself and ask yourself, okay, let me go through this again. Did I bring it upon myself? What could I have done differently? Right? Because the first thing I remember when you do something in a situation like that, somebody starts blaming you. So you sit down like, you ask, but why did you tell me about this? We could have treated it differently if you said, oh, because I didn't trust you. I didn't think you had my back. People throw all sorts of things at you. I said, but you see, in doing that, you've created a worse situation for you. Wouldn't it have been better to have done it that way, since an outcome would have been the same? Stop, introspect and think. Yeah? But once facts are there and it is very, very clear, for me, I've told you, hard and fair. Because there's something called precedence. There's something also called treating everybody fairly. Because if I treat you differently and somebody else does the same thing and I don't treat them like that, they're going to say, why did you favor that person and not me? Yeah. So introspection is very, very key. So Richie, if you're doing something where you're messing up, I'll sit down and tell you, Richie, I've heard this, and it's hearsay. I don't depend on hearsay. Is there anything you want to say about it? You sit down like, oh no, because you're afraid. You're like, oh my God, what's the implication? I said, no, just go and think about it. If there's anything, come, we can talk and figure out it. Then you go away, you don't say anything. Then you deny. And then now people come and give now hardcore evidence. Yeah. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Because then there's something called trust. Trust then is broken. Secondly, there's a conversation around what is this thing about integrity?
Yep.
And integrity for me is unquestionable. Where is your integrity? Right? Even if you've stolen, you think that if I admit I've stolen,
I'm over.
It is my integrity. Actually, you're better off stealing and coming and saying, I'm really, really sorry. These are the circumstances under which I stole. I want to be forgiven. It's a mistake I've made. you have more integrity than the person who steals
and
sits and denies, I never ever did. And then evidence comes, is a video camera of you taking it, and then you're like, what is this? No, that thing is, so you're worse off. So it's double. You've broken the integrity double, as opposed to the person who can honestly come. In fact, I'll have so much respect for you if you come and say, this is the reason. This is why I made this mistake.
Yep.
Yeah.
You've brought up integrity.
Yeah.
In this, again, I'm still just before you go to essay. You've brought up integrity. There's in companies like Unilever, because of the size and the magnitude, there's the gaps for corruption.
Yes.
And questionable integrity.
Yes.
And kickbacks in the name of corruption. Let me just call it what it is. You get?
Yes.
Were you faced with a situation like that where...
In those days, it wasn't that bad, eh?
For real?
The time I faced this, many years later, when I went into my next job at the brewery, I think that is where there was a lot more. But then it's because there was just a lot more money. The budgets were bigger, there was a lot more at stake. That's when I first started to see what it's like, that integrity aspect. That's when I started to see it. But at Unilever, early days, it wasn't what it is today. Like now I hear the stuff that goes on. It's a lot.
And have you fallen victim to it in terms of taken?
Me taking something?
Yes.
You know me, I'm a very proud person. I told you about independence.
Yes.
If you're not going to buy me a pair of shoes, why am I going to take money? So that you can go and tell people you gave me a bribe. Imagine that. I think that's a thing that will kill me. Not anything else.
Yes.
Just the fact that as I'm walking, sitting here with you, smiling, acting all virtuous and Miss Right Girl. Look at this one. We gave her the other day. She's eaten this holiday. I can't. I honestly, that is what gets me. If just a very thought.
I get it.
I can't. Honestly and truly, I can't. That is what gets me more than anything else. I need to hold my head up high. But the bigger thing is, yes, there's a fundamental of my independence, because I also feel the minute you do that, I told you, independence, you're owned by somebody else. The minute you take a bribe or you're compromised in any way, you're owned by that person. They own you in a way. They own what they can say. Why do you want to allow yourself to be in that space? So you have to be at a different place where you're so thick-skinned, you don't care, and you can deny, and you can deny. But if you can look at me in the face and say, but I can't. I honestly can't. I can't. It freaks me out, but I can't. Honestly. Even if I was broke, how?
Let me not even laugh about this. The reason, can I be honest and tell you the reason why I decided to do a whole leadership series is because for me, integrity is the core of the biggest mistakes that we're having with leadership issues in this country.
Exactly.
And I'm not talking about political. I'm just talking about
it catches up with you.
And I want to show people that there are other people who live this way, who live on the foundation of integrity as one of their leadership principles. So to have you here say that, like, we can end this CTA now. But I'm serious. You get?
Yeah, but I mean, Richie, if you see when I talked about, I'm going to dial back and talk about values. If one of your values is, as I've said, this value of, I don't know if it's a value, it's a way of life. Independence is one of your things.
Yeah, it is.
It plays in so many different ways, right? I told you that part of my independence is I don't want to feel somebody's keeping me. I don't want to feel that I can only have something because of somebody else. I don't want to feel that I've been given something I haven't worked for, right? A bribe I've not worked for. I mean, you might tell yourself you're helping somebody, maybe that's why you deserve it. Fair enough. I don't want to have somebody look at me. This is where the Meru now comes in. You know, Marys, we have a bit of pride. Just a bit.
I've seen my
Just a
little bit.
Just a little bit. And it's just that sense I'm going to be somewhere and somebody's going to attribute who I am because of something they've given me. I can't deal with that. I don't know if people can relate to that, but it's as simple as that. Because if you have given me a bribe, right? Next time you see me in a house somewhere, I see they have that. I gave them 20,000. My 20 million must be some of the things I bought.
Yep.
I can't deal. Yeah. So those are some of the things that probably become my guiding principles and why I've never gone down that path, because of that independence principle.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if it's lunchtime. I'm seeing more. Not yet. We still have some time. Now, 15. I can see Mama and Izo looking at me. They give me these eyes. I want to talk about your transition to South Africa. So, what leads for you now to get to this place? Where do they offer you? Do you ask for it?
Yeah. Remember, I'd asked for it.
How do I put this in a politically correct way? The colonials. A lot of the land there is not owned by the natives.
In Nanyuki?
In Nyanyuki or in Laikipia County.
Yes, in Laikipia.
So now you're beginning to deal with a whole different people. Explain to me the challenges now or the process of acquiring land in Nyanyuki.
Well, for the most part, I deal with African landowners,
Okay.
the native landowners. And native is also relative. The actual natives, the Maasai, who sold off most of their lands in the 70s to land buying groups made up of Kikuyus and Merus.
What? Even
primarily.
in Nyanyuki?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Nanyuki. Most of Nanyuki that is not white owned is owned by Kikuyus and Merus.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, and many of those were bought through land buying groups. And so those are some of the guys we bought from.
Okay.
I
Was it a
have
process to find these people? Were you now learning?
Yeah.
Like, did you know about the history of Nyanyuki or
no. Now I was discovering. That's why I spent 3 weeks going. You learn about a place.
You've been told here, don't even bother buying. This
Yeah,
is
here
conservancy.
Conservancy.
This
You
is
understand the lay of the land.
Uh-huh.
You'll get common points of information from various people as you interact: brokers, agents, landowners. You do your own research on the internet. You get on the ground. You very quickly you get a sense for what the lay of the land is.
And what about conmen?
Plenty. Yeah. You have to be careful. I mean, you have to know what you're doing. So if you don't have the time to...
And some of that is time wasting. Because imagine a guy taking you throughout a whole place and telling you about land, only for you to find out the guy has conned your whole day.
Yeah, you know, as a matter of principle, I do not deal with agents or brokers. If I must interact with one, they have to be in the company of the landowner.
Aha.
If the landowner is not there, I'm not interested. Ever. I don't care how good the deal sounds. I'm just not interested. So over time, you learn what signs to look out for. If they're unwilling to connect you to the landowner, something is fishy. Yeah. If they're legitimate, they will bring the landowner and everything's on the table. It's transparent. And you interact with the landowner, you interrogate the landowner, you negotiate with the landowner. Never negotiate on pricing with anyone other than the landowner.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot of the work we do as Goshen Acquisitions, is we sort out that murky scenario so that by the time we're selling to our customers, it's sort of taken care of, but they can also do their own DD. If they listen to any of the counsel we give them, check out the documents, do your searches, ask questions before you pull the trigger.
And Goshen Acquisition never sells land that you don't wholly own.
Absolutely
You're not a brokerage.
Yeah, we never act as brokers or agents. If it's not ours, you will not hear about it from us. So we have to own it, because how else would we guarantee the sanctity of documents? You know, we're not going to risk any of our borrowed capital as a business, or any of our own capital, if any of our own capital is used, on something that's questionable. Yeah, so we have to own the property first. That way we have sort of sanitized or ensured or qualified that the documents were clean. Then we do our own process, keeping with the law, the zoning requirements now by every county, which is why we've never really offered 50 by 100s. In most parts of the country, it's illegal unless you change use, which most land sellers do not do, which land buyers are unaware of.
So, in fact, I love this. We'll after this question, we can understand your first purchase in Nyanyuki. But what you're saying is it's illegal for eighths. This thing that guys talk about eighths.
Most eighths you will find are on freehold agricultural land.
What does that mean? Explain that in layman.
It's land that's zoned for agricultural use. And it's freehold, meaning you have perpetual ownership of the land without paying taxes to the government.
So it's like land in Nairobi is not freehold.
There are certain pockets that are,
Okay.
but it's very rare.
What's the opposite of freehold?
Leasehold.
Leasehold.
So leasehold is land.
The 999 years, is it?
Yes, the maximum is 99 years.
Oh, so it's not. It was moved from 1,000 years.
Yes, it used to be 999 years, but the 2010 Constitution cut that down to 99 years for good reason. But in urban centers like Nairobi, you will find leases as low as 39 years or 59 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, that are renewable.
And meaning you own this land you lease this land for that one, and it's literally owned. You lease it from the government.
You own it for a limited time.
Oh man.
Yeah. So what you're buying is you're buying the right to utilize the land for the limited renewable time, though. They're always renewable.
Yeah.
Provided you've been paying your rates and rents and you apply for renewal in time, it's a pretty standard procedure.
So now you're getting in the mix and learning all of this.
Yeah, baptism by fire, man.
Yeah.
It's but I love it. You know, I love being up and about, scouting for land. I'm discovering corners of our beautiful country.
Yeah, you're in Kisumu just the other day.
Yeah, man. Oh my God. First time in Kisumu proper. I'm from Webuye and I've never really spent time in Kisumu. I was blown away. That place is gorgeous. My goodness. I went all the way up to a village called Sakwa, which is about an hour and a half from Kisumu town. In terms of driving, oh my God. A peninsula surrounded by freshwater lake, eating fresh tilapia all day long. Nice breezes. I mean, it's this country is stunning.
Yeah, in fact, the other day you were also again in Diani.
Yes, I mean, Diani speaks for itself. Best beach on the African continent for, I think, 6 out of 10 years in a row. That speaks for itself. Diani is stunning.
Yep.
It's beautiful. So that keeps the job interesting. I'm learning about our country and I'm having fun. So it's not a chore for me, and I am genuinely passionate about land investment and creating safe opportunities for fellow Kenyans to invest in their home.
Okay, I want to speak about Nyanyuki a bit in terms of your acquisition of land in Nyanyuki.
Yep.
How does that start?
Acquisition of land in Nyanyuki. In general, it's the same everywhere else. Assuming you've come to terms with the landowner and you've done your DD.
So you, of course, you met the landowner.
Yeah, you negotiate price. You either agree or you don't agree, and you keep looking, or you agree and you prepare sale agreements. After confirming that the documents are in order with your searches and so on, you confirm identities. So a lot of people think DD for land only involves doing a title search. It doesn't. You have to make sure you're paying the right person. So the title might be legit, but then you're paying the wrong person. So we also do DD on the individual. So you confirm that the identification documents are legitimate. They have a KRA PIN that matches what the government has on record. You can also apply for a search on their ID to the registrar of persons, and they will confirm that the copy of ID you're presenting is accurate based on what they have on file.
So, man, this is crazy. You've never done this, But I remember one time you wanted to do a video where you say that the title deed is the most useless document.
Yeah.
And you actually literally wanted to tear a title deed
I did,
on
yeah.
camera just to show people.
Just to prove to
like-
people that, you know, it's a piece of paper. It's a token for something else. And that something else is it's infinitely more important than the title. That file at the registry, which includes
So
your
that
green
document
card.
represents the file at the registry.
Yes.
What are some of the documents that are in there? The green card? I know.
Green card, white card. So green cards generally go with white cards. They contain different sets of details about the same piece of land. Will contain defaced mother titles if what you're considering is a subdivision of something else. History of ownership, any records around loans that might have been secured by the land, any land disputes, any fraud issues that the land might have been implicated in the past that you're not aware of that might impact on your decision to buy or not. Very important file. That file, together now with a registry index map, because of the digitization of the registry, would mean way more than your title deed. Yeah.
Okay, so you acquire this land in Nyanyuki. How many acres are we talking about your first investment?
The first one.
Yeah.
So we purchased 11.5 acres. Those were the sizes they came in. A place called Karanja. We purchased from Wheeler dealer in Nanyuki, and then subsequently purchased other 11.5 acre blocks over time from other individuals.
So where's the capital coming from?
Same groups of guys, private capital from the life group guys, 300k here, 400k there.
These guys literally helped you start your business.
Yes, 100%. Without them, I am not sure we would have started at all, or if we did, not at that time.
What?
Yeah.
So they are you buying this one again now to sell, to subdivide and sell?
Yeah, we bought it, subdivided into half-acre parcels, and sold.
And
yeah, it took us, I think, 3 years for
3
that
years.
cycle. Yeah. So over time, I have tended to want to hold land a bit longer before I resell, just to allow values to go up and I can maximize my returns. So by the time we were finished subdividing and selling, it was almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay, with that kind of delay or that kind of time period, first and foremost, how are you then eating? Secondly, now the same investors, are they like, yo man, this other one took 18 months, I'm waiting for 300 and something % return on this next one? And that cannot always be the case.
No.
So now you begin, let me say, how then do you have that kind of conversations with your investors? Because these are your investors.
You just have to be candid, man. Sometimes they don't like it, but you just have to be candid. These are the issues we're having. Sometimes the projects have taken longer to exit because of corruption at the counties that delay certain permissions. Sometimes it's factors outside anyone's control. For instance, when Honorable Kaimenyi was a cabinet secretary for lands, one of the first things he did when he took office, he disbanded all land control boards nationwide.
Whoa.
Now, that means if you're dealing with freehold agricultural land, nothing can happen because you cannot subdivide, you cannot sell, you cannot charge, you can't do anything with that agricultural piece of land.
Because it's all done in land board meetings.
Yeah, land control board consents.
Yeah.
So he said it was going to take 14 days to reconstitute, and that ended up taking almost a year.
What?
Yeah. So for a solid year, if you are keen to do things ethically and in keeping with the law and the policies, procedures set out by the Ministry of Lands, you could not transact. So you have a period of time where the project can't proceed. Now, in that same period of time, and this is one of the frustrating things about explaining to investors why we're experiencing delays, because in the same period of time, other competitors may be subdividing and selling. So the question is, how come they're able to and you're not? And then you have to get into the intricacies of explaining that because we do things ethically and we don't bribe the officials for the permissions, even though they're not supposed to be issuing, then we have to wait. If you don't care about ethics, then we are not the right partners to grow capital.
Have you had to return some investors' money just for that reason?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm all too happy to, because by and large, all our investors are like-minded in terms of ethics and so on. Occasionally, you'll have some who are not as committed to the ideals. And let me tell you something, you really learn a lot about yourself and your partners, people around you, when money is on the line and the clock is ticking. That sort of pressure will squeeze out the real you. And in some of those instances, we learned that this person doesn't really believe like we do, that it's important we do it ethically and cleanly. And in that instance, we part ways.
Okay, but how does then... Okay, man, so many questions, but let me start with this one. Then corruption.
Yeah.
So corruption happens in various stages throughout this whole land buying process. Sometimes the people who you're dealing with are actually the government institutions. And if you do not play by their rules, then you are not able to have them issue you with your titles. They can frustrate you because you're not supplying them with their liquid, giving them what they need, facilitating the fee. So how does that work then? How are you able then? Because this one now becomes a case of this guy wants a bribe, but we can't give the bribe, and because we're not giving the bribe, investor, you have
progress.
to wait.
Yeah. I mean, again, we're open with the investor about the reasons, and then they have to make a decision about whether they subscribe to the same ideals or not, and then we figure out a way out. But over that period of time, we've also learned that communication is incredibly important. And so when we're sitting waiting and a year has gone by and there's no progress report, rather than assume that your investor knows you will reach out when there's progress, we're learning that we have to be proactive about updating them.
So I'm hearing about some of the mistakes you made.
Yes.
There are times where you didn't communicate.
Lapses, because if there's nothing has happened, if you've told an investor we're still waiting because of the same reason after 4 or 5 months, you assume they understand the status quo hasn't changed. But not always the case. Sometimes they just like to know that you are still aware they're waiting, and they're happy to be told that the status quo remains the same. Yeah,
that's
so communication is incredibly important.
Okay, so when you're talking about investors, does now the investor pool become bigger than just your life group?
Yeah, it's grown over time. It attracts their workmates, their family, their friends, and the circle keeps getting wider. But we've also learned, as a business, scalability is important. Access to appropriate quantums of capital are very key to how fast you can grow and what storms you can weather. So we're in a situation where we're positioning ourselves to have those conversations with institutions as opposed to private investors, individuals rather.
But your company predominantly grew by private investors coming in. A guy gives you his 5 million bobs, his 3 million bobs.
We've never borrowed from a bank until date. It's always private individuals. Yeah. I mean, there's practical reasons for that. Now, private capital can be considerably higher than institutional capital. For instance, when I was busy giving my investors returns of 300%, our auditors would ask, why didn't you just borrow from the bank and pay 15% interest instead of giving up 300%, 275% extra. And you have to explain, if I borrow from the bank would want to charge the title, which means I can't subdivide and sell. And then I'm also saddled with monthly interest payments I have to make. Where's the money coming from if I haven't sold? And I can't sell without subdividing. And I can't subdivide because the same bank has charged the title. So it works against you. So private capital is easier. It allows you to do what we need to do without encumbering or stagnating the processes we have to undertake. So you pay a price. It's more costly, but you're able to cycle out. A bank will bleed you dry with interest and then foreclose on you when you can't pay, and you're double negative.
Man. Okay, so now as this company begins to grow, first and foremost, we can't talk about every land transaction that you guys have done because there's quite a couple. But you have done some strategic land investments, for example, in Elementaita. That is, you can count how long Elementaita is in terms of its land by a finite God-given parcel, God-given feature. So it's not too much land on that. Talk a little bit about that.
We how did I discover Elementaita?